everybody. How are you today? Before we get started with today's lesson, I want to ask you, how are you doing with your attitude of gratitude? Awesome. Some of you have been able to remember every morning to thank God for just one thing in your life that you're thankful for. Maybe some of you say your prayers at night and thank God for something at the end of the day. And maybe some of you take time to thank God throughout the day when you think of something that you're really grateful for. I'm really proud of you. That's great. Let's continue with that attitude of gratitude for as long as we can. I still do it now, and I'm old, so it's a good practice to get into. What's that? Oh, why am I wearing my jersey? Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sports teams today. You can see that I have an old retro Ottawa Senators jersey. I love the Ottawa Senators. Sports these days look a little different, don't they? I'd love to be at the CT Centre cheering on the Sens, but sports looks different right now during this pandemic, and so I just felt like putting on my sports jersey anyway so I could remember. This is an old jersey just with the great big O in it, but the real authentic logo of the Senators is this, right? You've probably seen these. Do you know what this is? Well, he's a senator. We would have called that, I think he looks like a Roman centurion. And we're going to talk a little bit about Rome and about centurions today, because long ago in Jesus' time, there were a group of Pharisees who wanted to stop Jesus from all of his teachings, and they didn't want him to continue to have such a great following. So do you know, they thought they would trick him. Can you imagine that? Thinking that you could trick Jesus? But he was smarter. He had a good answer for them. You see, what they wanted to know was whether or not they should pay taxes to Rome. And believe me, as you get older, you'll know that nobody loves paying taxes, but it's something we have to do. And taxes go to a lot of good things, but that's another lesson for another day. In any case, there was Jesus talking to these Pharisees who were trying to trap him. I think they figured if Jesus would say that, the world belongs to God and so you don't have to pay your taxes, that maybe they could keep all the money for themselves. Well, it doesn't work that way, and Jesus knew that. So he held up a coin and he said to them, well, whose picture is on this coin? And they said, well, it's Caesar. And Caesar was the ruler over Rome and over the Israelites at the time. And Jesus said to them, pay Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. Well, just like us, I have a loonie and a toonie here, and if you look really closely, you can see whose picture is on that. We have Queen Elizabeth II on our coins. So we belong to the state or the province or the country where we live, and we have to pay taxes so that we can afford things like roads and garbage collection and schools and hospitals. So we have to pay to our town or our province and our country certain taxes. But what's this bit about give God what belongs to God? Well, I think maybe what Jesus was trying to remind the Pharisees and all of us is that we're on God's team. And we have to give God back all that we have. We were created in God's image. So how do we give back? Well, I think it means we have to give ourselves to God. Well, how do we do that? You guys know, because we've talked about this before, and you have really good answers and really good ideas. What could we do to give back to God our thanks? Well, some of the things are like we talked about last week, having an attitude of gratitude and remembering to say thank you. Thanks for the sunrise and the sunset and grass outside and trees, and maybe you want to thank God for snow that's coming in probably a month or so. And we could thank God for blueberries and strawberries and bananas, all the amazing things that God has given us. wonder if there's anything else we could do. In addition to being thankful, well, it's not like we can wear a uniform to say that we belong to God or that we're on God's team. So how could we show people? What if we were kind? What if we were compassionate and told the truth and looked after each other, our brothers and sisters and our neighbors and our friends at school? It would be kind of like Jesus reminding the Pharisees where they came from. He's kind of saying to us, you guys all came from God, and you owe something back to God. And by using your life in a good way, you bring other people to God. It's like recruiting people that you know to be part of God's team. Well, that is pretty cool, don't you think? Maybe that's something we could add to our Attitude of Gratitude journal. I think so. And don't worry too much about coins. They'll take care of themselves. We need to take care of God's kingdom. And so we need to show by our actions and our behavior that it's a good place to be. Now here's a coin that doesn't have anybody's picture on it except this loon. But the secret with this coin is that if you peel off the gold wrapping, it's chocolate inside. It's kind of like getting to know God. As you peel off the layers and you get to know Him better, it's nothing but sweetness inside. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.